The South China Sea is not just a body of water, it is a vital artery of the global economy, a lifeline that sustains the flow of goods, energy and wealth across continents. Beneath its waves lie vast reserves of oil and natural gas, resources coveted by every nation. These underwater treasures are not just numbers on a chart, they are the lifeblood of modern civilization, fueling everything from cars to factories. These energy reserves are crucial for powering industries and homes, making the South China Sea a region of immense economic significance. Without this energy, the lights in our cities would dim, and the wheels of industry would grind to a halt. Furthermore, the sea serves as a maritime superhighway, a bustling corridor where ships from all corners of the globe converge. Every year, trillions of dollars worth of goods, transported on massive cargo ships, pass through its shipping lanes. These ships carry everything from electronics to clothing, connecting producers with consumers worldwide. This maritime trade route connects Asia with the rest of the world, making the South China Sea indispensable for global commerce. It is the bridge that links the bustling markets of Asia with the rest of the global economy. The strategic importance of this region cannot be overstated. It is a chessboard where the moves of nations are dictated by the need to secure economic and strategic advantages. Control over the South China Sea translates to influence over vital resources and trade routes, making it a coveted prize in the game of geopolitics. Nations vie for dominance, knowing that control here means power on a global scale. For nations like China, which heavily rely on these shipping lanes for their economic prosperity, securing access to the South China Sea is paramount. The sea lanes are the arteries through which the lifeblood of their economy flows. This combination of resource abundance and strategic location has made the South China Sea a focal point of international attention and, unfortunately, a breeding ground for tensions. The stakes are high, and the world watches closely as nations navigate the complex waters of diplomacy and conflict. In recent months, China has significantly increased its military presence in the South China Sea, raising alarms across the globe. Large-scale naval exercises involving warships, submarines, and fighter jets have become increasingly common. These exercises, often conducted near disputed islands and reefs, are clear demonstrations of China's growing military might and its resolve to assert control over the region. China's actions go beyond mere displays of force. The construction of artificial islands, equipped with military-grade runways and radar systems, further underscores China's assertive posture. These island outposts, strategically scattered across the South China Sea, effectively extend China's military reach and bolster its claims over the disputed waters. The international community has expressed concern over these actions, viewing them as a challenge to the established international order. The United States, a long-standing champion of freedom of navigation, has responded to China's assertiveness with a clear message. The South China Sea is an international waterway, and all nations have the right to sail through it unhindered. This principle is rooted in international law, specifically the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, which the U.S. supports even though it has not formally ratified it. To reinforce this message, the U.S. Navy has conducted freedom of navigation operations, FONOPs, in the region. These operations are designed to challenge maritime claims that the U.S. considers to be excessive and to assert the rights of all nations to navigate freely in international waters. These operations involve sailing warships close to the disputed islands claimed by China, directly challenging what the U.S. sees as excessive maritime claims. By doing so, the U.S. aims to prevent any single nation from unilaterally controlling these crucial sea lanes which are vital for global trade and regional stability. In addition to FONOPs, the U.S. has also strengthened its military alliances in the region. This includes deepening defense ties and increasing military cooperation with key allies and partners. Joint exercises with allies like Japan, Australia, and the Philippines have become more frequent and sophisticated, sending a clear signal of unity and a commitment to deterring any attempts to restrict freedom of navigation. These exercises not only enhance interoperability among the allied forces, but also demonstrate a collective resolve to uphold international norms. The U.S. maintains that its actions are not aimed at containing China, but at upholding international law and ensuring a free and open Indo-Pacific region. By promoting a rules-based order, the U.S. seeks to ensure that the Indo-Pacific remains a region where all nations, big or small, can operate freely and without coercion. China's actions in the South China Sea have not gone unnoticed by its neighbors. Countries like Japan, Australia, and the Philippines, all with their own claims and interests in the region, have watched China's growing assertiveness with increasing concern. Japan, with its own territorial disputes with China in the East China Sea, has been particularly vocal in its opposition to China's actions. Australia, a close ally of the United States, has also expressed concerns about the potential for conflict, and has increased its military presence in the region. The Philippines, perhaps the most vulnerable to China's actions, has found itself on the front lines of the maritime disputes. Confrontations between Chinese and Philippine vessels have become more frequent, raising tensions and highlighting the risk of miscalculation. Amidst the rising tensions and military posturing, the international community has called for calm and urged all parties to resolve their disputes through dialogue and diplomacy. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, a regional bloc that includes several countries with claims in the South China Sea, has been at the forefront of these diplomatic efforts. ASEAN has engaged in talks with China to establish a code of conduct for the South China Sea, a set of rules and guidelines aimed at preventing miscalculations and managing tensions. However, progress on the code of conduct has been slow, hampered by disagreements over key issues such as the geographic scope of the code and the enforcement mechanism. Section 6. ASEAN's role navigating the tensions. ASEAN faces a delicate balancing act in the South China Sea. On the one hand, the bloc seeks to maintain peace and stability in the region, recognizing the importance of economic cooperation with China. On the other hand, ASEAN members are wary of China's growing assertiveness and are determined to protect their own sovereignty and maritime rights. This delicate balance was evident in the recent ASEAN summit, where member states issued a joint statement expressing serious concerns over land reclamations and activities in the disputed waters. While the statement did not explicitly name China, the message was clear. ASEAN is united in its opposition to actions that escalate tensions and threaten regional stability. Section 7. Potential scenarios, from stalemate to conflict. The future of the South China Sea remains uncertain, with analysts outlining a range of potential scenarios. One possibility is a continuation of the current status quo, with tensions remaining high but contained. In this scenario, China continues to assert its claims, the United States maintains its military presence, and regional countries navigate the complex geopolitical landscape. Another scenario is escalation, where miscalculations, accidents, or deliberate actions lead to a military confrontation. The risk of escalation is heightened by the increased military presence in the region and the lack of clear communication channels between the key players. A third more optimistic scenario is de-escalation, where diplomatic efforts gain traction, leading to a reduction in tensions and a peaceful resolution of the disputes. Section 8. Global implications, trade and security at stake. The stakes in the South China Sea extend far beyond the region itself. As a vital artery of global trade, any disruption to shipping lanes in the South China Sea would have ripple effects across the world economy. The free flow of goods, from oil and gas to manufactured products, could be severely impacted, leading to economic uncertainty and potential price hikes. Furthermore, the South China Sea is not just an economic, but also a security concern. The increasing militarization of the region, coupled with the presence of major military powers, raises the specter of conflict. A conflict in the South China Sea would have devastating consequences, not only for the countries directly involved but also for the wider international community. Section 9. A call for peace, the path forward. The situation in the South China Sea is undoubtedly complex and fraught with challenges. The region is a hotspot of geopolitical tension, with multiple nations laying claim to overlapping territories. These disputes have led to a series of confrontations and a growing sense of unease among the involved parties. However, amidst the rising tensions and competing claims, one thing remains clear: the path forward must be paved with dialogue, diplomacy, and a commitment to peace. It is essential for all nations to come together, set aside their differences, and engage in constructive conversations aimed at finding mutually beneficial solutions. All parties involved must prioritize peaceful resolutions, adhering to international law and respecting the sovereignty of all nations. This means recognizing the importance of legal frameworks and agreements that have been established to maintain order and prevent conflict. the international community has a crucial role to play in facilitating dialogue, promoting confidence-building measures, and upholding the rules-based international order. Organizations like the United Nations can provide platforms for negotiation and mediation, helping to bridge gaps and foster understanding. Ultimately, the future of the South China Sea depends on the collective wisdom and restraint of all stakeholders. It is through patience, understanding, and a willingness to compromise that lasting peace can be achieved. Only through cooperation and a shared commitment to peace can we ensure that this vital waterway remains a sea of opportunity, not a flashpoint for conflict. By working together, we can transform the South China Sea into a symbol of unity and collaboration, benefiting all who depend on its resources and strategic importance.